Nevis National Carnival Committee to showcase our unique carnival product to our citizens and residents and a more diverse and wide-ranging global audience. The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee, in partnership with industry creatives, will shortly release a calendar of events for Sugar Mass 49. This will showcase unique elements of our culture and will include aspects of Christmas festivities. The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee wishes to place on record its fullest support for the COVID-19 task force, the police, and healthcare workers who have established protocols to protect our citizens from COVID-19, working diligently to ensure that the Federation remains safe. We appreciate the understanding of Carnival stakeholders, revelers, and general public. We look forward to presenting Sugar Mass 49 in its new format to Carnival lovers locally, regionally, and internationally, in a way in which it has never been done before. And God willing, celebrate our 50th in grand style in 2021.
People make the world go round.
And that was the Minister of Culture, Mr. Jonathan Powell, making that announcement. Since then, you've had lots of traffic on social media about Carnival this year, 2020. We want to, first of all, welcome the Chairman of Carnival to the studios of Win FM 90.9. Ms. Hawley, good morning.
Morning, Clive. Thank you for having me.
You look sharp, man. You look really sharp. I mean, yeah, we're going to own this photograph at Trent. We're going to have some intellectual property in that. Yes, but let's getting back to Carnival. I wanted to begin our conversation by just let's just imagine that some people don't know what we're talking about when we say Carnival. So they're listening to Win FM. They may not be in St. Kitts and Nevis. They may be here. They may perhaps have not really been paying much attention. But give us a sense of the recent history of Carnival. Like what are some of the activities that have been considered to be main events? We heard from Mr. Powell. He mentioned pageants and the Grand Parade in Juve. But talk us through that for a bit.
Sure, Clive. Okay, so let's talk about the last 10 years. So back in 2010, the 40th anniversary of Carnival, what we now call Sugar Mass. What the National Carnival Committee did back then was extend the Carnival period to 40 days and 40 nights of Sugar Mass. So the period went from December, it extended to November. So over the past 10 years, the Carnival period, what we are seeing is the Carnival period being stretched more and more into the prior months of December. So National Carnival is essentially the main focus of the celebrations is in December, where we have several pageants, the main pageant being the National Queen pageant. We have the Calypso shows, we have Junior Calypso, and then more and more what has happened is we've had several fringe activities which are hosted by the National Carnival Committee. So you would have seen pre-Juve jams, you would have seen extempo competitions, best of the rest competitions, more and more competitions coming on board for this National Carnival period. So the month of December has, always been controversial for many because of the fact that for many, the Carnival celebrations overshadow the Christmas activities. So we have had to try over the past few years to manage the expectations of both the individuals who prefer to celebrate Christmas activities because that is so important, and also the individuals who celebrate Carnival because, Juve morning starts on the day after Christmas, the 26th. So essentially, and it then goes into the 1st and 2nd of January. So what we have had is over the past several years, we have not seen the traffic, international and regional traffic, what we would see for instance, music festival for Carnival, because individuals would stay in their respective countries and celebrate, Christmas and that festive period with their families rather than travel to St. Kitts to celebrate Carnival. So essentially that is, our Carnival falls smack in the middle of December, smack in the middle of Christmas. And we've learned kittitions and divisions, we've learned, because of course so many people travel home to spend it with their families as well, we've learned to celebrate both. We've learned to coexist with both celebrations in the month of December. So essentially that is what our National Carnival is about.
And you speak about expectations, and you've had lots of debates over the years. I can remember some of them about Christmas versus Carnival, or Christmas and Carnival. Some saying two for the price of one. What you're quarreling about. What is your sense, though, of the expectations of that period, apart from what you mentioned, in terms of what are people expecting? The vendors expecting to perhaps make some money. People expecting to put on their troops. It's an economic
Absolutely.
time.
The economic effects, the trickle-down effects as it relates to the economy during that time. I mean, it's the biggest celebration. Music festival is over a 3-day period and involves far fewer stakeholders than Carnival does. Carnival, you have vendors on the street. You have from individuals cleaning the streets. You have individuals. You have folklore, all the folklore troops, etc. So you have it caters to a much wider cross section of society than does music festival, and for a much longer period. So you have individuals who are hosting fetes, events. You have the hairdressers, the makeup artists. You have so many businesses that wait for that period to make money. And it's so important for so many people, because individuals, over that period financially satisfy themselves for the rest of the year. So it is a lot more than just fetting and having fun, what many people see it as, but it is also an opportunity for many businesses, many young people, and many small businesses and stakeholders to make some money.
And then came
COVID-19. Which we were hoping by now would have disappeared. But the reality is it's still with us, and it will be with us for the unforeseeable future.
And COVID-19, of course, we're talking about the coronavirus, which requires a certain kind of response. And Kitts News has done very well indeed since March, closing the borders, instituting protocols, social distancing, wearing masks in public. You can pay $500 if you're caught without your mask in public. And of course, we've had just 19 confirmed cases, 17 recoveries, and no deaths. So great record, but preparing now for the end of this month to reopen the borders, just to get that economic stimulus going again, because there must be some pressure and some strain on trying to meet all of the responsibilities of government and the needs of people without income coming in. So having said that, are we still having a carnival?
After the minister's statement yesterday, I saw a variety of posts on social media, memes about Carnival being cancelled, and individuals very vocal about the minister's statement. But Carnival Sugar Mass 49 is definitely on. The minister did not say that Sugar Mass was cancelled. He said that key or traditional events on the Carnival calendar were cancelled, including the Grand Parade, the Last Lap, Juve, and all pageants. That is what he said. He didn't go into more detail, but I think individuals ran with that word cancelled and took it upon themselves to basically state that Carnival was cancelled. But it's absolutely not cancelled. Carnival Sugar Mass 49 is on. Even though it may more be online, it is on. And we're going to celebrate it safely. I think the health and safety of the citizens and residents of St. Kitts, as the minister said, is foremost. So we're going to celebrate it safely. We've been doing great so far. The borders are going to open. We're going to celebrate it safely, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Now, you got lots of kudos. For the last time around, you served as chairman of National Carnival. This time you're going into new territory. You're now going to be the chairman of Carnival for the first ever pandemic type response to Carnival. So when you say new format, what is some of your considerations?
Well, what we've seen regionally and internationally, we've seen so many carnivals cancelled. We've seen Toronto, we've seen Notting Hill in London, we've seen Labor Day, New York, Miami, we've seen Trinidad just announced no carnival. How can we even think about carnival during a pandemic? We've seen Barbados, Antigua, St. Lucia, etc. have been all cancelled. And what we have done is, because we are such a unique people And we have learned from all of the carnivals for the past 8 months. What we're going to do is we're going to do a portion of the carnival virtual, and we're going to do a portion physical. So there is not going to be absolutely 100% virtual carnival. That is not what we're trying to achieve. There will be some events that we will have participants and crowd participation, and there will be some events, new events that we will have virtually, new exciting events for the carnival calendar that cater to a cross-section of society. So many people will have an opportunity to have fun during the period and also include the Christmas activities. And I think that is very important because over the past few years, the Christmas activities have been more and more overshadowed by the carnival celebrations. And I think it gives us the perfect opportunity to step back and include the Christmas activities on the carnival or the festive calendar for Sugar Mass 49.
You're tuned to Winner FM, it's 90.9. We're inside the news with Ms. Shannon Hawley, the chairman of the National Carnival Committee. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Once we hear now from our partners who are proud sponsors of Inside the News.
The Cable introduces My Cable, your convenient online cable account experience. It gives you the power to pay your bills in real time, manage your account, view your current bills and bill history, view channel lineup, request a service, and upgrade Ultra TV services. All this without ever visiting the cable office. To sign up, all you have to do is log on to www.thecable.net. Now you have the power to manage your account online with My Cable. From the Cable.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
You're tuning in to FM, it's 98.9. We're inside the news. We have Ms. Shannon Hawley with us, the chairman of the National Carnival Committee. If you have a question or a comment, we'll invite your calls, 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. Well, we're talking about Carnival, a different Carnival, one that will put emphasis not only on what's happening in terms of Carnival, but also I'm getting a sense of what you're saying, that there's going to be some emphasis on Christmas activities as well. Can you let us in, give us some insight into what may be some of those activities coming up? I know your schedule is not out yet, but if you can give us a bit of a preview, if you like.
Well, we're definitely discussing further. Well, for the past few years, we've always had In the Spirit of Christmas on the Carnival calendar. In the Spirit of Christmas is an event over 4 days that has been hosted by the Department of Culture. It is very popular. That event will be back. We're also looking at a Christmas caroling competition that I think will add some, Christmas cheer to the Carnival calendar. We hope to meet with the Evangelical Association as soon as possible, and we would like to discuss some further events that we hope the Evangelical Association will come on board with us and partner with us on. I think that it is a very important time, especially during this pandemic, to give thanks, and it is my hope that the opportunities are there, and it is my hope that the Evangelical Association will take us up on our offer to be part of our celebrations. But I can't say any more right now.
So you're going to be speaking to the Evangelical Association. You're going to have In the Spirit of Christmas. You're going to have potentially a Christmas caroling competition. Can you give us a sense as to what may be some of the activities that will be physical and some virtual, without giving away too much? I know you're still waiting on the schedule.
Well, what I can say is that, Socrates sang a song, the Calypso must go on, and the Calypso will go on, and the Calypso show will be our feature event for live event for this year's Sugar Mass. So the Calypso show will definitely happen. We will be partnering with both tents, both bands, and hosting a series of 5 tents for each of the bands. We're going to put more emphasis on the tents. We think that there are venues where the tents can accommodate social distancing. There's a lot to sing about, and we want to hear it. We want our hardcore calypsonians who have been out of the race for so many years, we want them back in the ring. And so the Calypso show must go on and will go on. And so that will be our feature event for this year's Sugar Mass. What we're also going to do is we're going to have a King of the Tents. We're going to reintroduce the King of the Tents to bring some excitement back into the tents. And what I can say this year, which will be different, is that the finals are going to be, there are going to be 16 finalists in the Calypso finals this year. We're going to be eliminating the semifinals. We're going to go straight from the tents into the quarterfinals and from the quarterfinals into the finals. Simply because we have seen over the past few years, we've seen the Calypso show's numbers dwindling. And we definitely need some excitement back into Calypso. We think this year there's a lot to sing about, and what we want to give as many people the opportunity to reach to the finals. So we think that having one song in the finals, we think it is a bold step. We've discussed it with the leads of both of the bands, both of the tents, and they are in agreement. So we want to be able to have one song finals. You come and you have 16 finalists singing one song in the Calypso final. So that will be one of the major changes that you will see this year for the Calypso show. As it relates to virtual events, we are introducing a new event, which is very exciting for me, is called Icons. And we're introducing much more than one, but one of the virtual events that we will be introducing is called Icons. And we will be celebrating road match champions for the past 49 years. And with this, we're going to have young people involved. We're going to have popular young people doing covers. We're going to include road match champions that are still with us. And we're going to give people their flowers while they're still here with us. So many times that we miss out on that opportunity. So we're going to be celebrating road match champions for the past 49 years as one of the virtual events that we're hosting. We're going to host a virtual DJ competition, and there are going to be a lot more events put on by private promoters and a cross-section of event promoters that are going to be included on the Carnival calendar that we will partner with. There's going to be no competition between National Carnival events and private events. We're going to be partnering with these event stakeholders because we think that these event stakeholders are just as important. These event stakeholders make the Carnival. So we're going to be partnering with these event stakeholders to host a series of events in the month of December leading up or during that Carnival period. So it's going to be very exciting, even though you're not going to see the traditional Juve Road Jam, but you will see Juve Fets. You will see Juve Fets that will be able to be put on in a healthy, safe environment, and you will see opportunities that you've never seen before. So I think, people are very apprehensive about the fact that some of their favorite events are not going to be held, but trust me, there will be events for everyone on the Carnival calendar, and we will make sure that it is as exciting, as safe as possible for our revelers.
This is also being described as a good time for what you call industry creatives. Tell us a little bit about those industry creatives. What exactly do you mean when you say industry creative, and who are you talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Clive, there are so many young people. There's so much young talent in St. Kitts and Nevis that sometimes we don't tap into for one reason or the other. So this is a time for us, and we have already started consultations and discussions with these individuals who have so many ideas, a wealth of ideas. And these are the individuals that we're looking forward to hosting events with and coming up with the really great creative ideas for us to host exciting events. These are individuals who would have experienced festivals and carnivals regionally and internationally, and have reached out to us and said, hey, I think this will work. Hey, I think this will work. Amazing ideas that we are different, that you've never seen before, unique, and we're looking forward to implementing for this year. Because, as I said, Carnival 49 or Sugar Mass 49 is not about, it's all about preparing us for Sugar Mass 50. Next year is our 50th anniversary, and what we do now, especially as it relates to the virtual events that we're going to be producing and producing well, is promoting ourselves regionally and internationally to people who may have missed out on the fact that there is a carnival in St. Kitts and Nevis in December. You hardly see Sugar Mass on the carnival calendar. For many individuals who go carnival hopping all around the world. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to highlight what we have to offer in St. Kitts and Nevis as it relates to carnival during that period.
Now, you just speak about private events and the fact that you're going to be having lots of activities, but there'll be somebody who's going to say to me, how do we make money? We are vendors now. We don't do private events.
Yeah.
What can you say to some people who perhaps are vendors?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said from the start, the carnival period is an extended period. It's a period that so many individuals it has to take into consideration when planning and when executing events. What we're going to do is we're going to have a Sugar Mass village, and we hope to transform the current Carnival village into our Sugar Mass village. And in that village, it gives us the opportunity to be able to manage the crowd in that area, to instead of having just an open area, it is enclosed, so it gives us the opportunity to manage the facility, take temperature checks, ensure that people wear masks, and that will be the area where we will have give vendors the opportunity to vend. So in the Sugar Mass village, which we will be creating, it will give the vendors who would have traditionally been on the road for Juve or been on the road for Grand Parade or just be on the road generally during the carnival season. It will give them the opportunity to vend in a safe area that is controlled and managed by the National Carnival Committee.
Any innovation in terms of merchandising?
Not this year. This year. Not this year. Well, actually, we don't know if maybe one of the young creatives will hop on board and come on board with us in terms of merchandising. But it has not been something that has come to the. It hasn't been highlighted in the National Carnival Committee, but definitely now that you've said it, it is a great idea, a great opportunity for someone to partner with us to do merchandising as well.
You could have the mask for Sugar Mass.
Yes, mask for Sugar Mass, yeah.
Now, in terms of the challenges, because we speak a lot about the opportunities, but what are some of the challenges that you're already seeing?
Well, the major challenge, of course, is financial. The National Carnival is heavily subsidized by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we all see what is happening. The government has been, there's been an additional month added to the $1,000 stimulus package. The government has been stretched. There have been so many people out of jobs. So even though there was an amount allocated in the budget for National Carnival 2020, we do not expect to receive probably half or even quarter of that allocation, and neither will we ask for it because we do have a conscience and we are aware of the fact that there's so many people unemployed and so many people out of work. So this is not the most challenging aspect of hosting this National Carnival will be the fact that we are operating on a very tight budget, and that is why even though we probably would have liked to host more virtual events or more events, we just financially are unable to do so. So in addition to the health and safety of participants, we have to take into consideration the financial aspect of the whole National Carnival.
All right, we're going to hear from our partners. We're going to come back and continue our conversation. The phone lines are pretty quiet this morning. It means that you're very clear. People are understanding everything you're saying. They don't have any questions for you at all. It's quite amazing. You're tuned to Win FM, it's 90.9, and Inside the News comes to you the very best wishes of the cable and Carib Brewery.
The Cable introduces My Cable, your convenient online cable account experience. It gives you the power to pay your bills in real time, manage your account, view your current bills and bill history, view channel lineup, request a service, and upgrade Ultra TV services. All this without ever visiting the cable office. To sign up, all you have to do is log on to www.thecable.net. Now you have the power to manage your account online with My Cable. From the Cable.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
So we are having a conversation this morning with Miss Shannon Hawley and talking about Carnival in general, the new innovations for this year, COVID-19 realities. Of course, we have no way of dodging those realities. And but before I ask Ms. Hawley to speak to some of the things that she really wants people to remember about this conversation, one of the things we've discussed over the years has been how soon should you release your music for Carnival in general? We're already in October. Some may say, what are you talking Carnival is October? Well, it's already October. And how soon will the tents start?
Well, the tents are expected to start at the beginning of November. So you will be hearing from the tent leaders shortly in terms of the preparation for the tents. What I want to say is that, again, Carnival is on. All is not lost. Carnival is on. And what we have to take into consideration is the fact that this pandemic gives us the opportunity to step back. There've been, we've looked at the Sugar Mass calendar over the past 10 years, and every year it's growing in terms of the amount of events that are hosted by the National Carnival Committee. And for me, the National Carnival Committee's role is not about how many events we can host. The National Carnival Committee's role is to ensure that the festive period or the carnival period is a successful period in terms of financially for stakeholders, and it is a successful period for the country on a whole. So what we're going to try to do this year is step back and look at the number of events that have been hosted over the past few years by the National Carnival Committee and see what events we can eliminate. Because what has happened is that there have been a boatload of events on the Carnival calendar, but not all of them every year have come off successfully. So what we need to look at is what events we can recreate, what events we can put some more focus in and promote. For instance, the Soca Monarch. The Soca Monarch is a prime example. 10 years ago, the Soca Monarch started. It was on the road to becoming the number one show during the National Carnival. It's very popular in other islands and in other territories. But we've seen the numbers for the Soca Monarch dwindling. We've seen the participation in the Soca Monarch dwindling. So that is one show that we want to refocus our attention on for the 50th anniversary. And then there are a number of shows that we think that we need to look at and eliminate potentially from the Carnival calendar that are hosted by the National Carnival Committee. Because these shows, we don't see the revenue, we see dwindling numbers, we don't see participation, and it makes no sense for us financially to have a show just for the sake of having it. So this year gives us the opportunity to step back, look at events and shows that have not been very successful in the past, and look at ways in which we could recreate the events to ensure that we have maximum participation and promotion for these events. Because some of the events get lost because the Carnival calendar is so wide and so packed with different activities. Some of the events get lost, and that is not what the National Carnival Committee's role is. What we are going to be doing, and you're going to see us doing it this year and moving forward, is partnering with a cross-section of stakeholders, private event promoters, to ensure that their events are successful during the period. They are the ones who make Carnival. And finally, our Carnival, National Carnival, is unique in the fact that it is not only about costumes, it's not only about beads, what you see in other territories. We have that cultural, that folklore aspect of it. And you will see a lot of it during Sugar Mass 49. You will see our folklore being highlighted. There has been, over the past years, Folklore Avenue, Folklore Parade. You will still see that aspect of the folklore and our culture being promoted during the Carnival festivities. So we may not have a grand parade. And mind you, even though the grand parade is off, very early in the game, back in July, we had discussions with the troops, and the troop leaders were not in a position to give us their go-ahead for their troops. They basically said for a number of reasons they were not in a position to have their troops. Some of them had said they were not able to get prototypes. Some of them it was financial. Some of them were not able to get feathers because China was closed. So the troops very early, 90% of the troops very early told us that they would not be having their troop. They will not be putting out their troops for this year. Similar to Juve. The Juve bands were not very comfortable in putting out Juve bands this year because of the unpredictability of the pandemic. So in addition to the health and safety aspect of it, our stakeholders also were very concerned and apprehensive in putting money out to have events, and then the event may not necessarily have come off because we don't know what will happen when the borders open.
Now, what about the issue of the promotion of the music? One gets the sense that not enough of the music is exposed into the wider Caribbean.
Absolutely.
Has there been a discussion about that?
Absolutely. And what we intend to do this year is one of the virtual events that we intend to do is have a virtual DJ competition, a tune for tune DJ competition. And what the DJ competition will do is only focus on St. Kitts music, St. Kitts and Nevis music. The DJs will not be able to play any other music but St. Kitts and Nevis music, because what we see or what we have seen is very few songs have made it internationally and regionally from St. Kitts. We have been looking into it. One, the songs come out very late, very close to Carnival. Two, our artists just do not get the airplay that they need regionally. You hear our beats, you hear our rhythms regionally, you hear our songs, some of our songs, Brockett Set It, for instance. You hear that in so many different places, and people don't know it's a St. Kitts and Nevis song. They don't know where the song has come from. They think it's a Trinidadian song, etc. So what we want to do is we want to give the bands and we want to give artists an opportunity to showcase what they have. And one way we will do that this year is the virtual DJ competition. Secondly, we will give the opportunity for them to launch their tracks live on various media houses, ZIZ for instance, live rather than on a radio, but live as in live in person, playing their music. We think that is an opportunity for people to grasp what they're trying to achieve, rather than just releasing music late on in the Carnival period. We've seen some of the bands, we've seen Mr. Mention, for instance, release music already for Sugar Mass. So we're encouraging bands to release music. As it relates to Calypsonians, what we have realized is that many of the Calypsonians don't have the finances to produce their music. So you hear Win FM, for instance, playing music from the tents rather than playing music that is well produced from a studio. So what we will be doing this year, and we've already had the discussions with the tent leaders, is trying to provide some sort of assistance for the Calypsonians to have their music produced rather than having their music just play live from a tent, because again, you cannot promote your music when you're being played live from a tent. So these are the little things that we're doing in order to develop our brand, develop our Calypsonians, and develop our soca artists.
So two strategies perhaps, one for Calypso and one for soca?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you had Best of the Best.
Yes.
You had compilations were offered.
Yes.
Has that ever worked here in terms of, okay, we have Carnival, let's get the best whatever, soca songs or the best whatever, calypso songs and have a compilation available for sale. Has that been a discussion?
We not that I know of, but we have to engage our soca artists, we have to engage our band leaders, and we have to engage our calypsonians on a different level. It is not only about playing in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's not only about playing in regional islands or islands that have a high population of Kittitians, because that is what is happening. What is happening is that our bands are very popular here, then they go regionally only to places where you have that high concentration of Kittitians and Nevisians. So you don't get that widespread message being, going down south, etc. So I think that and that is what the Carnival Committee is about. The Carnival, as I said before, Carnival Committee is not about hosting 50 events on a national carnival calendar. It's about developing the art form. And in developing the art form, something like that definitely is something that needs to be taken into consideration, where we can promote our music regionally and internationally.
Now, just the other day, Jab Jab was not so popular outside of Grenada and a few other places. Now Jab Jab is all over the place. Are there lessons there from how did that get to the center stage?
But it's the same thing as what you're seeing in the Southern Islands. You see the Southerners go to carnivals in Trinidad to promote their music, not only as an individual, but as a carnival, as a committee. You have someone in authority going to these islands. So, it's going to be very difficult for one man to go to Trinidad and try to promote his music on various radio stations. It takes a team effort. So it needs a properly well-produced team effort and that is what happened with artists from St. Vincent. That is what happened with artists from St. Lucia, etc. You've seen so many of the internationally recognized DJs now playing St. Lucian music, Vincentian music, etc., and not playing the Kittitian music. But what I have seen over the past few years, and especially last year, we saw the troops bring in influencers from overseas. We saw the troops bring in international DJs. And what they did, I think, was tremendous and must be applauded, because what the troops did, you had Lux, you had Majesty, you had Fun Vibes, you had Ultra. All of these troops brought in international DJs, not just to perform for their revelers, but they brought them in as a sense of promoting the country and promoting the island. And so maybe we looked at it and said, oh, why are they bringing in international DJs? But those international DJs would have then gone out and started to play local music, St. Kitts and Nevis music. They brought in influencers. We saw the same thing. We saw Lux bring in influencers. We saw Ultra bring in influencers. These influencers were then able to go out and market St. Kitts and Nevis to their millions of followers on Instagram and social media. So, it won't happen this year, but definitely 2021, God willing, once we have a Carnival 50, these are the types of things that the National Carnival Committee will definitely be partnering with these bands to ensure that our music and our carnival is out there regionally and internationally.
Now, what about conversations among the carnival committees of the Caribbean? Yes, you have a calendar of events. Is there a conversation as to how St. Kitts and Nevis could get a more prominent space in that calendar?
Well, I heard some discussions back in June on the way forward with carnivals and festivals, etc. And St. Kitts and Nevis was never mentioned. It was never mentioned. We are a small island carnival, yes, but we were never mentioned. Even though St. Lucia was highlighted, Dominica even was highlighted, Grenada, Barbados, etc. was highlighted. So I think it is an opportunity for us not only to reach out to individuals in islands that are close by, because we have to start close by. So we have to start in Antigua, St. Martin, Anguilla, St. Thomas, where we have a high concentration of Kittitians and Nevisians. And I think the past year had already started that, where they had a contingent of participants go to, for instance, St. Martin Carnival. So what we want to see more is we will first start with the islands close to us. We need to start with Antigua, Anguilla, and what we're going to be doing for this year is we will be partnering with media houses in various islands that are close to us for them to bring our Sugar Mass virtual events. So we will be partnering with media houses in Antigua, in Anguilla, BVI, to bring our Sugar Mass events. And I think that this is the first step in ensuring that our Sugar Mass it gets out to a regional audience.
All right, we have a call on the line. Call you live and on the air. Good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good day to you, Sir Clive, and to Lady Shannon. Wonderful program.
Socrates.
That's the king himself.
Yes.
And I know this is music to so many persons' ears because there's been this feeling, well, no carnival, taking a read from what the minister would have said yesterday. So this reaches out to a lot of folks. I've had calls from folks in New York wondering what's going on, so they're relieved to hear the level of events that will be taking part as much as possible. The various new programs, I think people will be very encouraged by that. Observing the Christmas festivities and within the challenge of COVID, having to have some sort of physically still hosted and some virtually. My particular point of interest is what the minister said about the assistant Calypsonians getting their songs recorded and up and out. They have marketed the carnival way before the 10th season or those opened. And then the compilation that Mr. Backers mentioned, that's very possible. But that's not to bring a negative into their conversation. The pirates kill that. We get compilations, actually come to the 10th, and they make compilations, and they kill it. So it's difficult to get sales that will come back to, or revenue to come back to the California themselves. It can be done. But even if we produce the compilation, how do we stop that bleed that goes to the pirates and people who buy from the pirates and not support the artists themselves?
I remember you had a song about that, right?
Many years, as a matter of fact. So it's a challenge. So the compilation is a great idea to market the product overall. As a matter of fact, this year, Calypso program should be geared at marketing for what will be the 50th anniversary of a carnival. So all the songs should give some sort of a semblance of marketing to what will be our 50th anniversary. So the compilation is a great idea, and we should go with it. It doesn't matter what the beat is, but it's all about marketing for what will be our mega 50th anniversary carnival.
Well, seeing we have you in the line, you've played all over the place. You probably Antiguan, Dominican, Trinidadian, as well as Castilian, Canadian, American, because you played everywhere. What are your thoughts in terms of promoting? We heard from Miss Hawley just now, but what are your thoughts about getting St. Kitts and Nevis' music into a bona fide industry where people can actually make a living off of it all year long?
I was in a meeting yesterday with a young chap with the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, and he impressed him that he's creating a platform like a YouTube locally here and be able to put our music on that platform, not only from St. Kitts and Nevis, but regionally. And she was very, very encouraged with that. I'm very much impressed. So I think the sooner we get that platform up and running, we can create what would be like a YouTube or a Spotify from here in St. Kitts, and that will make a big difference in terms of marketing our music and that from the wider region.
All right. Well, thank you very much, King Socrates. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Socrates.
Much appreciated.
And I'm listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations, Lady Harley. Come back.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling, man. So you were making a point earlier about St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, and other countries that a few years ago you'd hardly know the music unless you were a national of the country or you had friends from the country. But they've done pretty well. So we heard from Socrates, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that definitely as he said, a YouTube channel or Spotify. The National Carnival actually has a YouTube channel. But as he said, a YouTube channel or Spotify specifically to promote St. Kitts music is a step. But I think that it also needs that, additional step where you have the opportunity to go out there as a group, have the opportunity to go out there regionally and have concerts. I was speaking to Richie Bunting this week. He reached out to me and he said, if this was not Corona, why not have an opportunity for the Carnival to take the best of the best regionally. So you go to Anguilla, you go to Antigua, and I thought it was a great idea. You go to BVI and you have a road show. You have a road show with your best of your best, and you start with areas where you have a high concentration of Kittitians and Nevisians, and then you move out. And I thought that was an excellent idea that he gave. So these are all options that we have to take into consideration moving forward. And again, the pandemic gives us an opportunity to step back and to think of ways not only for Carnival for the December period, but how can we market Carnival and how can we promote and ensure that Carnival is really has that economic benefit and the potential is realized of National Carnival as it is realized in so many of the other islands. How can we realize that economic potential that Carnival has over the next year? And we have a director of Carnival now on board, and she's a full-time employee. So Hazel Webster, and her role and her responsibilities focus just on that. It is not only, and the minister himself, he has realized that Carnival is just not about having some fun in December. It is a year-round. It takes a year-round planning. It takes year-round planning to ensure that it is successful. So that is why we're looking so much forward to Sugar Mass 50, Carnival 50, and we will do everything in our power to ensure that we produce well-produced virtual events for Sugar Mass 49 to promote the 50th anniversary of National Carnival.
You listen to WinFM 90.9, your Insider News with Ms. Shannon Hawley. You just heard from King Socrates calling in just a moment ago. Let's hear now from our partners, The Cable and Cara Brewery.
The Cable introduces My Cable, your convenient online cable account experience. It gives you the power to pay your bills in real time, manage your account, view your current bills and bill history, view channel lineup, request a service, and upgrade Ultra TV services. All this without ever visiting the Cable office. To sign up, all you have to do is log on to www.thecable.net. Now you have the power to manage your account online with My Cable. From The Cable.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
You're inside the news in WinFM 90.9. We started with an announcement by the Minister of Culture, and then we had the chairman of Carnival telling us about the specifics of the events. Not all the specifics, mind you, because she has a schedule that will be announced a bit later on. But in case you joined the program, what I'd like to do is invite Ms. Hawley to give a recap for us of the main points. What people ought to understand when you say you're going to have a virtual carnival. It's not just a virtual carnival. What are some of the new features? And what, if they have any questions, how can they get those questions answered beyond just being a part of this program?
Absolutely. So, Clive, thank you again for having me. And as I said to start with, Carnival is definitely on. Yes, there will be scale-back activities. Yes, there will be virtual events and new and exciting events, but Carnival is definitely still on. There may not be a Juve parade, but there may be Juve fetes. There may not be a grand parade, but there may be activities that replace that day's activities. And again, the traditional events that people have grown so accustomed to on the Carnival calendar, being hosted by private event promoters, they will be still on the Carnival calendar. So there's so much to look forward to in the month of December, albeit scaled back, albeit we are in the midst of a pandemic, but there's so much to look forward to in December, come December for National Carnival. We will be launching our Carnival calendar on the third week in October. So people have plenty time to pick and choose. There'll be something for everyone on the Carnival calendar this year. People have time to pick and choose what events they want to attend in person or what events they will attend virtually. And I think it is a perfect opportunity, as I said, for us to step back, look at ways in which we could be innovative and create new events, exciting events, and all is not lost. There is definitely an opportunity for us to celebrate and give thanks. It has been a rough year, and I think for our mental health, especially, there's an opportunity for us to celebrate and give thanks at the end of the year for National Carnival, and include Christmas activities in the process.
Now, if you're a vendor or you're an investor or innovator or whatever, who do you speak to if you want to just get a sense of what's really happening and how you can be a part of it?
Well, we have a brand new Carnival office, National Carnival office. It's located on Keon Street in the E.C. Daniel building. That's just next to the gas station on Keon Street on the second floor. So there's a nice office space for you to go and have a chat with our staff there, the Director of Culture, Hazel Webster. We will be soon launching our National Carnival website, where you'll see registration forms, etc., all online. So you don't have to come into the office in person to complete any registration form for any events that we may be hosting. And then there is our email address, info@skncarnival.com. You can always send us an email and we will respond to you. So there are those options for getting in touch with us, and we'll be happy to entertain you over the next few weeks, few days. The general public will be hearing more from us. We will be having more discussions and consultations with event stakeholders just to update them on where we are at in the process. We will be having more discussions and with the NEOC, because of course we know individuals' health and safety is critical, and we can't do anything without the approval of the NEOC. So we will be having discussions with the NEOC. So the general public will be hearing more and more from us over the next few days and few weeks.
Final thought.
Sorry?
A final comment.
Okay, so I am again telling everyone that National Carnival is on. It may be online, or it will be more online, but it's definitely on. There will be very, very, very much excitement in the air over that period. We know it's a Christmas period. We know it's a period that people traditionally celebrate, and we want individuals to continue to do so. We saw all the memes. We saw all the sad faces as it relates to sugar mass.
There was one with a dog.
Yes, I saw the dog.
That expression
I saw the
almost made me
dog.
cry.
I saw the bag of sugar.
It was so sad.
I saw the video. With the ministers, a snippet of the minister's address, and I'm sure he saw them as well. But again, the health and safety of individuals is first and foremost. Secondly, the mental health is very important, and realizing that, I think that Carnival, in some sense and form, will go on and must go on. And as Socrates said, the Calypso also must go on. There's a lot to sing about, and I'm looking forward to the Senior Calypso show this year.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Shannon Hawley, for being with us on the program to explain to us exactly what's happening. We look forward to being in touch with you. You're always welcome at WinFM. Just push your door,
yes,
come on up, and we'll talk some more. But all the best to you and your team.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, it's time now to bring you the headline news on WinFM 90.9. We come back for the second segment. Ms. Hawley's only here for the first segment. So the second segment, we'll be having a look at what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis and around the region. Headline news now.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the WinFM Headline News. The WinFM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance,